two of them.
This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
And I'm Al Reynolds, your host and judge.
Each show, there are 4 celebrity cases, 3 real attorneys, 1 verdict, guilty or not guilty. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
A-listers, come on in. All the A-listers, come on in. I need the jury box full tonight. Come on in, everybody. A-listers, come on in. Tonight's episode is titled Aiyuk Warrant, M.I.A. suit, Boosie footage, and yep, Will Smith X wants $1 million. You heard me correctly. Tonight, we have 4 celebrity cases, and also what I've been telling you about, 1 human story, 1 human interest story, and 1 question hanging over every headline. When does chaos, like the chaos we got in the courthouse tonight, legal exposure? Now, Brandon Aiyuk has an arrest warrant after a viral speeding video. Haven't we said on this show 100 times, stop creating evidence for your own court case? Well, he has showed up on social media and is now the witness. M.I.A. is suing Kid Cudi for $2.8 million after being dropped from the tour. And now we have creative control is being decided in the courtroom arguments. All right, Boosie, welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. He's facing an aggravated assault charge, and footage is surfacing. And guess what? Everybody online thinks 1 clip can help solve this whole case if you see it. Last but not least, Sheree Zampino is suing Will Smith's ex-best friend, Bilaal Salaam, for $1 million because she said, you have defamed my name and have ruined my reputation. And for a human interest story, it's something that has the internet all in a ruckus. Cyrus Carmack Belton, where a jury acquitted the store owner and the community is still living with the aftermath. Can't wait to get everybody's opinion on that. This is not a press conference. This is not spin, and this is definitely not mercy. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where I bring the mess, my attorneys bring the law, and you, the jury, you decide who's guilty and who's not guilty. I'm Al Reynolds, and tonight, the docket is beyond filthy. But before we get into tonight's legal foolishness, do me a favor, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite some folks over to the show. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. As always, please follow us over there at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where you can also drop stories that you think that we should be covering. And right now, you know what you got to do, jury members. Drop down in those comments and tell me where you are joining us from. Now, also, drop in there just from what you see as what we're covering, who you think might be guilty and who may be not guilty. I don't want your careful answer, not your lawyer answer, but your first messy instinct. Who's guilty and who's not guilty? Let's see if your gut survives the law. And of course, I'm not in this courtroom alone. Joining me tonight, I have 2 of our legal minds who know how to cut through celebrity spin, social media nonsense, and public confusion and get straight to the law and tell us exactly how it is. We've got 2 lawyers tonight. That's Sean Carter and Shatan Turner. Counselors, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Glad to be here.
All right, guys and ladies, I need clarity. I need precision, and frankly, I need one of y'all to stop me if I get too feisty. You know, after a little bit too much water, it's just
Is it water, though? Is it really?
I'll never All right, counselors, glad to have you because tonight I'm not looking for legal analysis. We want to know also some legal reality. And jury, don't leave them off the hook. If you've got questions, be sure to jump in the chat. I want you watching closely because just because they sound confident don't mean that they are correct. And one more thing, like I said, please follow us at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, because this is where the jury keeps talking after the show ends, and this is where we will post updates, case clips, and legal mess in real time. So go follow, tag it, and share because court may adjourn here, but the public opinion never clocks out. All right, without further ado, court is now in session. You know, as always, we have to make one legal note. Allegations are not convictions, and everyone discussed tonight is presumed innocent in the court of law. But like I always say, it doesn't matter in this courtroom because here we examine behaviors, we examine optics and exposure, and we decide whether we think they are guilty or not guilty. All right, let's jump right into our first case, and that is with Brandon Aiyuk. All right, do you guys know who he is? He's a very popular football player, and a warrant was issued after a video tied to him speeding near Levi's Stadium went viral. Now, this is the kicker here. He's the one that posted the video of him speeding. So it looks like the content that he's created is now turned to evidence. All right, Sean Carter, you know I got to come to you because I need for you to please break down this story to me. And also, is it true that he was the one that recorded all of this and posted it, and that's how they found it?
Absolutely. So you see in the footage there, you have one video right behind this, him behind the steering wheel. He decided he was going to post his own video of him breaking the law, and it's absolutely ridiculous. First of all, let's be clear. All right, he is in a Cadillac, and you can tell that Brandon is his parents are new to America. He ain't been black in America very long because if you get a Cadillac, you don't race a Cadillac. You cruise in a Cadillac, right? My grandmother had a Cadillac, Coupe de Ville, never went more than 35 miles an hour. All right, you don't speed, but this fool speeds, posted on the internet. By the way, in December, the police immediately look at this, and all they have to determine is he going too fast? He's got a speedometer right there. We can see it's 104 miles an hour. And what's the speed limit there? They take a look, it's 40 miles an hour. Bam. They send it over to the DA. And just so we understand, if it's a misdemeanor case like this where no one's been hurt, they don't send out SWAT for you. They simply say, they send you a letter, nice letter in the mail. It says, hey, Brandon, come on in here. Let's work this out. But Brandon don't answer emails these days. Brandon doesn't answer phone calls. He hadn't been playing in the league for 2 years because he decided he wanted more money. And when they didn't give him more money, he just ghosted everybody, right? Gave up $120 million and hadn't played a lick of football in 2 years. He just driving around the stadium mad, acting a fool. and by the way, in response to this, when they finally sent out the arrest warrant, he had a video of himself on a racetrack driving like a fool because apparently he decided he's going to be a speed racer instead of playing football. Okay, and I don't know if you noticed this, Brandon, but a speed racer don't look like you.
Let me ask you this, Attorney Carter. So if I'm hearing you correctly, he posted it on some type of social media. All right, so how did it go from his post on social media to the DA's office?
I assume somebody told the police, hey, Brandon is acting a fool out here. They got the evidence. And by the way, it's an open and shut case, except if Brian was representing him. If Brian was representing him, and let me sort of channel my inner Brian. I got to get deep one of those Robert Kennedy voices. Okay. But basically, the only thing he can really say is that it wasn't him. And he can try to pull a Shaggy and say, hey, someone stole my car. It was my brother, whatever it was. But if it's him, he's dead to rights. They got him. Nothing to be said here.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. How do warrants work in traffic misdemeanor cases? And I got to be honest, and I'm going to be truthful. If you send me a letter in the mail, I probably won't get to it. I'm not lying. I probably won't get to it. So if you sent me a warrant or whatever in the mail and told me come in and let's work it out, I probably won't get to it for like 6 months. So in this case, Attorney Turner, how do warrants work with traffic and misdemeanor cases? What triggers the warrant? And and if you don't know, other than you just have to wait till you get it in the mail because you don't get a ticket, right?
Well, warrants work the same way, whether they're traffic court or they're others. But what I would encourage the A-listers to do is check your mail. And I know the mail is probably like the least popular way of getting information because you have Instagram, you have Facebook, you have email. You have all of these things that give you the illusion that you have texting, that if somebody really wants to get in contact with you, they'll use an electronic medium. And the court system is actually old school, and the court system is all based on, service of process. And so however they serve you and is acceptable in your jurisdiction is when you're required to do what they asked you to do. So here's the thing is that they don't just send you a letter. Like, this isn't a request. So the audacity and the arrogance of most Americans thinking, oh, if I don't get it, nobody can do anything to me is a complete fallacy. Okay.
Oh,
Because they send it to you in the mail and then it gets lodged in the court system. And
got
so
it.
you say you didn't get your mail, but you know what happens the next time you get stopped on a traffic stop? They
You go to
pull up,
jail.
they see it's a warrant, and then think life is going to get hard for you. And that is, we've seen that has happened to T.I., who's a cutie patootie and has one of the best songs in the nation right now, right? Let Them Know. Love that
Yeah.
song. And ignore the people outside my window who apparently might be playing it right now. When you go through TSA, right, they also run you for warrants. Yeah.
Mhm.
So whether you check your mail or not does not determine whether or not you have a valid warrant against you.
That's actually good to know. That's actually good to know. Now you're gonna make me like at least check my mail once or twice. I have had an instance where I've gotten a speeding ticket through the light, and because I didn't check my mail and didn't pay it, my license was suspended.
See, there you go.
Is that the same thing as getting a warrant eventually if I kept ignoring it?
Yeah, and we should be clear. He got what's called a notice to appear. And so it says, hey, you might not even be in any trouble, but you need to come and talk to us. That's what you give me your speeding ticket, right? They just simply say, hey, come talk to us, pay us some money, do whatever. And he decided he was going to ignore it. He's been ignoring all the phone calls. And this is going to be a problem for him. Now, he's still, by the way, going to ignore it. They're going to have to come get him. But like Attorney Turner said, what's going to end up happening is they're not going to come get him on a SWAT raid. They're not going to wait until he tries to go to the airport, until he's running down the road at 3 a.m., until he's driving 200 miles an hour in front of the stadium. And it's going to be a bigger problem then because they don't ask very nicely when they pull you over the side of the road. You on the back of the hood somewhere, right? Getting your face smashed into it. It's better to just show up yourself.
Let me stir the pot here a little bit and think of this normally, right? Or just like what I'm thinking in my head. Why is an incident like this trumping all the other crimes that are going on in that city? Like, why is that DA taking this so serious when someone else told on him, when they need to be out here finding the missing little boys, brown boys and girls, or when they out here, needing to solve a crime of some sorts? Why is this getting such attention from you, the two of your opinion?
Well, that's the other fallacy, right? Is that just because you're not reading about something means it's not happening. So what makes the media are things that are noteworthy. And Pookie is right now, has a warrant against him and probably going to be taken in tomorrow. And it's not in paper, but it doesn't reduce the legal significance of it.
All right. Okay. I like it. So let me ask the jury. All right, let's go to the A-listers. Is Aiyuk the victim of getting picked on, or did he hand the DA a highlight reel and say, hey, I broke the law, come get me? Drop down in the chat because I really need to know. Is he a victim, or is he being made an example of, or, did he give them all the information that they need to make their job easier? Drop down in the chat. Really quickly, Attorney Turner and Attorney Carter. So this is serious, huh? So this is something that he needs to take very serious and try to bring resolution.
Absolutely. This is more than that rap song. And I forget who sang it. It was like, break the law, right? Who sang that one? Was it Goody Mob? I don't remember. But no, this is serious. Yeah. Anytime you are interacting with the criminal justice system, you need to take it seriously.
Okay. Carter?
Yeah, no. And I don't know if you noticed, but he's a large black man. You want to be able to handle this through your lawyers and judges, not with the police on the side of the road.
Please stop. Okay, that sounds right. All right, really quickly, let's get to the chat. I am seeing a super chat right here. Come through, Caramel 1977 Cancer. Thank you so much for the super chat, baby. All the positive energy, Caramel. 1977. What is that? A wink, wink. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, thank you so much for the super chat. Your support is so desired and appreciated. Nisha Phillips says, "Hey fam, I'm in the house tonight. How's everybody doing?" She says she shared with a lady who was all up in her face info to come watch the show. Hopefully, we got a new viewer tonight. Brenda K, come on in here. What's going on, Brenda K? Brian and Simone, come on in here. Come on here. I feel like we're family now. SL Warrior wouldn't be a show without you. Editor, Christina. Oh, sorry, Christine. Jason is not here tonight, but we have some time, so we had to trade it off. Colette Davis, come on. SL Warrior, Al Beard is bearding tonight. All right, I put a little Vaseline on it. Deliria Washington, Essie Stone, Joy Bennett, everybody, come on. Dominic Starr, thank you so much from Brooklyn. Essie Stone says, hello, attorneys. I be the shit. Say, hey, y'all, from the STL, Melina NC. Come on in, Glammy Brown. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Good to see so many familiar names. I love that. And some new ones too, Miss Real. Come on in, Miss Real. Come on in. And let's see, did I see another super chat? Yes, another super chat. Uh-oh, we are starting the night off right. It must be Shaitan and her new hair. Yes, from Ollie Good 321. Thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then Caramel 1970 said, Al, you're not checking your mailbox for 6 months. Gives rich white people vibes. Your ass is going to jail. I know. you ain't lying, because I even got a text. I got a text, what you call them, in there the other day. And I was like, wait a minute, where did this happen? All right, everybody, from a viral evidence to tour contracts, cancellations, and a $2.8 million lawsuit. This one is going to be good and ugly at the same time. M.I.A., you know who she is, versus Kid Cudi. So let me tell you, M.I.A. is suing Kid Cudi for $2.8 million, which says a lot. I need to go on tour for him, saying she was dropped after a political speech and that it was a publicity move, while Cudi says he warned her and removed her after backlash. This is going to be interesting. Let's go to you, Attorney Carter. Now, if I understand correctly, was it something she said, or was it something that she did that got her dropped from the tour?
No, she decided to go full Rush Limbaugh in the middle of the concert. She stood up, and at one point, she was like, look, I've been canceled for many things, but I never thought I'd be canceled for being a brown Republican. And that's not the right audience for that. She started talking about immigration and all kind of stuff like that. And Cudi had told her, hey, girl, you're going to mess up the whole tour. By the way, some of you didn't know this. I didn't know this either, but M.I.A. started out really, really liberal. The pandemic hit, and she must have caught stupid and COVID and just lost her mind. Started getting into 5G and conspiracies, endorsed Trump in 2024. So Cudi was like, look, you can still sing and you fine. Just shut up about the politics. She said, I got creative control. And they was like, yeah, that means we can, you can determine what color underwear you wear. All right, you can put your dance moves together, but you can't mess up the whole tour because they're out here canceling everybody. They're going to cancel me. All right. And so he got her fired off of the tour. She's like, hey, y'all owe me $2.8 million. That's what you promised me. And my thought is, Cudi, if you need somebody, I'll do background, I'll do foreground, I'll do only, you call me Cudi. But $2.8 million.
You gonna put
she got her. So here's the thing: is she sued him. Interestingly enough, she didn't sue Live Nation, who she signed the contract with. She sued Cudi because you can't sue Live Nation and still want to work anymore. She sued Cudi and said, "Hey, Cudi, you interfere with my contract. You got me fired, and therefore you owe me my $2.8 million. I ain't gonna mess with Live Nation because they get me banned. But Cudi, you owe me $2.8 million for being all up in my Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor."
All right, let's go to you, Attorney Turner. What damages are realistically provable, like lost guarantees, merch, cancel gigs, reputation harm? What is she actually going to use to get the whole $2.8 million?
All of those things, right? She's going to show that she deserves compensatory damages, and then she's going to, she's going to try to show that she's entitled to punitive damages, but I don't know that that's going to fly. But I have a wrinkle, I think, or a new angle for this case. And I actually wonder if she's sincere about it at all, quite frankly. I think that she's doing it for publicity so the hip hop loving Republicans can come follow her.
All four of them.
It's water.
I know, I'm looking for water. Because she's got publicity as a result of this, because she's saying she's being persecuted before her political views, and so now she'll smoke out people who are like-minded.
So she'll go to the Nicki Minaj side. So let me ask you this, Attorney Carter. When an artist gets dropped for offensive remarks, you know, I think that's isn't that, you know, in a part of their contract or clause that they have the ability to cut her at any time during the thing. So proving breach of contract wouldn't be the best angle to go, would it?
Absolutely. I found sort of a standard boilerplate, you know, morals clause. And basically, this is the one that says, you know, we get rid of you if you do something, you know, horrible. And it says, artist agrees that they shall not commit any act, make any statement, or become involved in any situation or occurrence which brings artists into public disrepute, contempt, scandal, or ridicule, or which tends to shock, insult, or offend the community, or which materially and adversely affects the reputation, goodwill, and economic success of the tour. And that's what Cudi is going to, he's going to be like, hey, people are going to cancel this tour. Think about what they did with Chili from TLC. T-Boz had to go out by herself. It's just T, right?
You are.
Yeah, she's singing, don't go chasing waterfall, because there's only one of her out there, right? And so they're like, hey, you're going to get me canceled. We got to get rid of you. And he was right.
Shaitan and Carter, I think you guys were here when we covered the baby. Remember, this happened to him when he came out and was talking about the gays and disease and stuff, and they canceled his tour and all of that type of stuff. Is this similar to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. When you are a performing artist, and especially when you're not the lead artist, like she wasn't here, in truth, you get fired if you do anything that makes people dislike you. And so, I mean, that's the whole thing. Going on tour is a huge popularity contest. They need to like you as a person. They need to like your music. And if you do anything that suggests that you are a liability, they get rid of you and they put in another pretty girl who's ever made a song.
There you go.
I love what Brenda K says. Give her $2.50. That's about all she deserves. Get lost, girl. I beat the shit says M.I.A. is a dummy. A dummy, A. What an idiot. Right? Eva Never 78 says she should have shut her mouth. It's just so interesting. Okay, so let's play devil's advocate on this. Other side of this is, what about free expression? Is that allowed in any way? Can the lawyers argue free expression, or is that not gonna?
You are free to express yourself so long as you want to be broke, right? But you can't ask someone else to give you $2.8 million for you to say what you want to say. Think about it. I don't get to say what I want to say on here, and I ain't getting nowhere near that.
Okay. Watch your mouth, sir. I
gotta take that.
No, but Attorney Carter's exactly right. They're not saying that she can't express herself. They're saying we won't pay you. And that's the whole thing. The lesson for the A-listers is this. People are all the time talking about free speech and what their rights are. And if you're talking about when you have a job, what you have the right to do is to remain silent about people, just like Miranda, right? Yeah, you don't have the right to be running your mouth and make people pay you. This is still America.
You know, this is an interesting conversation to me, because somewhere along the journey, people have been sold that they have a right to express their feelings and what they think, without knowing that, especially when it comes to contracts, that's not actually very true, right? Mm-hmm. It comes with like cliff notes.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares how you feel. Nobody wants to hear it. And in truth, the free speech rights under the First Amendment have to do with the government silencing people. It has nothing to do with private entities not paying you because they don't want, to appreciate your opinions. So, to your point, this is a contract. In other situations, for most people who have a job, it's at will. which means it's not written. But the contract of at will employment is, they can fire you for a good reason, a bad reason, or no reason at all, so long as it's not unlawful. And so the things that are covered by statute are things under Title VII that have to do with race, color, creed, disability, national origin, all those kinds of things. Not, I decided to run my mouth too much and offended all my coworkers, and now nobody else wants to come to work. You can get fired for that.
Oh, all right. Brenda K says, all right, Attorney Carter, I'll pay you in slips.
Yeah, there you go, Brenda. I'll take it.
Thank you for that super chat. Come on, Brenda K. Thank you for the super chat. And she says she'll give you a $5 tip. All right. Listen. I'll do it for $2.50, Brenda. I.B. Shed said M.I.A. can express herself on her own podcast, not on someone else's tour. I mean, to be honest with you, I would have to let her go too, because if that's not his audience and that's going it's going to affect his ticket sales for future of the tour, get rid of her. And I mean, there's a ton of other starving, extremely talented artists that can step right in and will take a call tomorrow and be there the next day, right? All right, Jury, let's go to you. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Jury? Drop down in the chat. Do you think that she's got a case here? What do you think? Drop down in the chat. Do you think that M.I.A.'s got a case? Should she be able to go on the stage? It's not her tour and talk about something that may be able to, ruin the tour for everyone else? Drop down in the chat. I want to know. All right, everybody, from contracts to a Houston nightclub and a piece of footage that the internet thinks equals you're guilty, Boosie. Yep, you got it. Our third case of the night is about Boosie. Boosie, welcome back to Celebrity Court. Anyway, he's facing a felony aggravated assault allegation tied to a Houston nightclub appearance where he was paid to appear in an incident involving a security guard and a glass hookah. And now footage is surfacing while the defense says surveillance and witness review matters, and they are looking into it. All right, this is very interesting to me, and I forgot to say this. Please do me a favor before we start to break down this case. Can you hit that like button? Also, can you hit that subscribe button? If you're already subscribed, hit that share button. As I say always, don't forget to turn on your notifications. Please get me to 200 on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and continue to drop down in the comments because we'd love to hear from you. All right, let's go to you, Attorney Carter. Now, this is interesting to me. He was paid to be there, right? So he's in the club. He was paid to be there. So how did he go from being paid in a VIP section to now ending up in court again?
All right. So some woman in the Boosie crew needs to go to the bathroom. And it's the last call. They're getting ready to close everybody out of there. Trying to get everybody out. I imagine it's probably her. And all of a sudden, she gets upset, starts fighting with the security guard. So Boosie comes over, and I guess to protect her honor, and hits the security guy in the head with a glass hookah. It required 8 staples in his scalp to close the wound. Okay? What? The police that night just say everybody go home or whatever. They start reviewing the footage, and then they issue a warrant out for Boosie's arrest, and they charge him with, what was this? Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a hookah. And as a result, Boosie's smart though, at least in this respect. He put a suit on, everything, right? Boosie got his lawyer to go, and they basically did almost a walkthrough arrest and booking. Where basically you have your lawyer set up. You say, look, we're gonna be there at 2:15. We want to be out of here at 2:30. We're just gonna go in. I'm gonna do the fingerprint. I don't have to bend over and do the coughing or nothing because I'm gonna be here about 15 minutes, right? And I got something to do at 3, right? And so he just walked through. They paid $85,000 bail, and he's gone. Now that's not the end of his problems though, because he's got huge problems here. This is a felony, by the way. They're charging him with, and the reason they charge him with a felony is because he happened to do this to a security guard who in Texas, believe it or not, they kind of consider law enforcement.
Oh.
So it's almost like assault on a cop.
This is good to know.
Yeah, now if he had just hit any of the other, and if he had hit any of the other knuckleheads in the head, he probably got a high five. All right, but you can't be messing with the law, so to speak. And so he's got, remember, he's on probation now. All right, for federal gun charges. Boosie, you better get to the studio and make all the albums you can.
Now, Attorney Turner, I also read somewhere that because he used a hookah, the object became a deadly weapon in the assault case. How or why was the hookah labeled a deadly weapon?
Quick thing before I answered that, didn't that party look like it was lit before the stuff?
I know, right?
I wonder how I missed it. But anyway, assault with a deadly weapon is really a function of whatever you are using potentially being lethal, right? So if you throw a brick, right, it can be that. The hookah, you have its glass, so there's no question that it could harm somebody. And so he threw it with like force, and so that's the argument they're trying to make. Of course, like weapons that you think about, like a knife, a gun, all those sorts of things automatically are assault with a deadly weapon. But anything that has a potential for lethality can actually be viewed the same way. A car, so like, not saying that women do this, but let's say your man made you mad. And let's say he was cheating with somebody. Mm-hmm. And let's say you were like, I don't give a bleep what happens to him. And he's walking across your path at your house and you're in your car and somehow you end up pressing the accelerator instead of the brake and you hit him.
Okay.
It would feel so good in the moment. Down and maybe he breaks a tooth and you're floating and high-fiving and calling your mama. Then the next thing you know, you're in handcuffs because the car is a deadly weapon and you just bought yourself a lot of problems. So girls, do not give in to that sensation. Do something that's not easily traceable. No, I'm just kidding. Don't hit your man with the car. That Carrie Underwood song, before he cheats, where she talks about slashing his tires, breaking his windows, all those kinds of things. All of those things are crimes, even though we all sang along to that song. So the message to the A-listers is don't commit crimes, especially not with something that has the potential to kill, because you can buy yourself a charge of assault with a deadly weapon.
This is insane to me. Okay, let's go back to you, Attorney Carter. Now, he's already on probation.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be a common outcome here? Do they plea out? Do they beg for dismissal? Do they go to trial? What way do you think that if you were representing him, you would push this?
The way to get that is obviously to go to the guy who got the staples in his head and offer him, in addition to some staples, some money. And basically say, hey, we need to settle this civil suit against you, whatever. Because here's the bottom line is, all right, the DA is probably not going to want to bring this to charge unless they have really good evidence. How are you going to get a bunch of drunk people to come and testify and have that be reliable testimony, right? This is like not a good thing, really helpful. So unless the security guard, is the one who wants to testify and really make this the case, it's kind of a hard case and nobody really wants to do it. And if the security guard doesn't want to do press charges, because let's say he's on his own private island, Boosie got him, or at least on vacation somewhere, he might not. And so chances are excellent, I imagine, that we'll never hear about it, but there'll be some out-of-court settlement between Boosie and the security guy, and he'll have more than staples. He'll have, some tape and some other stuff on his head, but he'll also have a big hat, too, for the clown.
Yeah, okay, so let me ask you this, because I know this might sound stupid, but if Boosie pays it to go away, does this then not be a violation against his parole?
Most likely the case. To get him to be convicted, he got convicted in federal court, and this is a state trial. And so if you are convicted of another crime, certainly they revoke your probation. But they have to make an effort to revoke your probation, right? And so it's the kind of thing where he'll say to them, hey, this went away. It was a misidentification. It was who's the guy recently? I'm Cardi B's man. It was just a misidentification, and I was wrongfully charged. They're not going to revoke his probation, all right, if he's wrongfully charged. And so to the extent he's not convicted, he'll be fine. But if he is convicted, he's going to do federal and state time.
Oh, Got it. Okay, so he don't want that. So he better put on a suit and shove out some money. All right, I be the shit says you're welcome, Shaitan. Your presence is a vibe. Nisha Phillips says Boosie's dumb. Oh God. Easter C says right. Brenda K says get that testosterone level down. Take that chill pill. Joanna is how you say that. Jay, be sure to let me know how do you say your name, beautiful. I'm late, but I'm here. Okay, excellent. Welcome to the show. SL Warrior says, what about your pocketbook? So you already knew SL Warrior to break out the money. And Danielle Cameron says, hey, y'all, I'm late, but I'm here. Good to have you. Sandra McGee says, seems like every time Boosie comes to Houston or H-Town, he gets arrested. And we were just talking about this, Easter C. Boosie needs to chill. Isn't he over 40?
Now, y'all are being too rough on Boosie. Let's explain, all right? Put his picture back up. If you look like this, would you be happy? Would you be a good mood all the time, or would you want to punch somebody in the head? If I look like that, I'd be punching everybody. So I get it. He mad because he's ugly, and that's just too bad, you know. And so we got to have some grace. Let's pray for the brother.
That's the grace. Whitney Hooten said, happy Pride, Boosie. I know that's right. I'm going to get arrested on Pride Month. All right, jury, drop down in the chat, A-listers. Let me know what you think. Do you think Boosie might be able to get out of this, or do you think he might be in a little bit of trouble? What you think? Drop down in the chat. Drop out down in the chat, please. I want to know what you're thinking. All right, everybody, from footage and fights to defamation, shame, and an ex-wife who says, you owe me $1 million and I want it right now. Yes, we're talking about Sheree Zampino. You guys know that name. You probably haven't heard it in a while, but that is Will Smith's first wife. And guess what? She is suing Bilaal Salaam, who is Will Smith's ex-best friend, for $1 million. And you want to know why? She's alleging slander and emotional distress after statements made in a YouTube interview with Tasha K. This one's going to be good. Gee whiz, this woman is never going to, she's never going to go to sleep for her. All right, Attorney Carter, you better give me the tea and give it to me right now, because this don't make no sense to me.
I would, but I think we have a video that even do it better for me.
Okay.
A Tasha K interview has caused another lawsuit. Sheree Zampino, who is Will Smith's first wife, is now suing Bilaal Salaam for $1 million for allegedly making defamatory comments about her during his interview with Tasha K. He had made statements like she had slept with all the guys in Hollywood. Now, y'all, if Bilaal loses this lawsuit, that means he is going to have to pay Will Smith's first wife and current wife, because the judge has already ordered that he pays Jada's legal fees for their whole situation.
Ooh, this is juicy. Okay, so we talk about this all the time, and all the time I forget, so I'm sorry, but explain to me again, Attorney Carter, what makes slander per se versus just messy opinion? I keep asking this question, and I know y'all keep explaining it to me, but I just don't get it. If that's his opinion, right? He worked with Will. He knew what she was in Hollywood. A lot of people have made these claims, so it's not like it's a new claim. Why is it all of a sudden when he goes on Tasha K, it gets amplified that now it's defamation of character?
All right, so let me explain between opinion and fact. All right, because that's really what it is. If, for instance, I were to tell you, okay, and by the way, he said she's trying to sit with everybody in Hollywood. She used the W word, right? A whore. If I say that about Catherine the Great, all right, from Russia from 500 years ago, right, that's opinion because I didn't know her. I wasn't around back then. I'm not an expert in Russian history. I don't even like Russian salad dressing, all right? I'm not someone who has any credibility, but that's not Bilaal. Bilaal's whole claim to fame, it ain't because he's pretty that they put him on TV. Look at it, all right? Ew. They put that milk dud on TV because he was boys with Will and he got the inside scoop. And so he's saying, hey, I know the tea. I know what she was doing, that she was out there, giving it away like it was a Costco sample, right? Exactly. And the point is that he better be right, because defamation per se, or Percy as we like to call it, means that there's certain things, classes of saying things about people that are automatically, all right, actionable. They don't have to prove any damages if you say it about them. One of them is saying someone got the cooties. That's why Tasha K got in trouble the first time. All right, saying that Cardi B had the cooties. If you say that someone likes to drop it like it's hot, that is defamation. All right. If you say that someone commits crimes, all right, that's defamation. And by the way, here's what I love about Bilaal. Bilal's big butt done hit it on, I guess because he needed both some balance. He hit it on both sides. He's accused of the crime of being a prostitute, right? Whoring and being loose. He got it coming from both ways. And Bilaal, I'm gonna tell you this, but I hope you stole enough money from Will while you were there.
But that was so many years ago, right? Okay, so let's go to you, Attorney Turner. How do plaintiffs prove damages in reputation cases? Like, what does this woman actually? Let me stop. I'm pretty sure she's got some type of job, but is it loss of deals? Is it emotional harm? I mean, what are her proven damages for reputation? I'm kind of confused.
Well, two things before I get to your question. One is, to the extent that Attorney Carter offended anybody out there by thinking we are engaging in colorism by using milk dud, I assure you that Attorney Carter did not mean that. We cannot be us on this show right now throwing out that statement.
Milk dud, I thought of the other thing. I thought about doo-doo, so I'm proud of myself for restraining myself.
He was talking about the haircut. The second thing, all I could think about is that song from back in the day, she's a hoe, she's a hoe. Like, that's what he said about Sheree. And so as it relates to damages, if you're in the defamation per se realm, then that means by virtue of the statement being said, you get damages and you don't have to prove all those other things. That's one of the big things between defamation per se and defamation.
But what if some of it was true, counselor?
Well, see, that's the part that I think Sheree needs to think about. But she did sue this because does she really want to get into a debate about how often she opened her legs and who she opened them for? But maybe after she left Will, she found Jesus and she has had no other partners. But if she's had a few, it could be a difference between what he thinks is a hoe and what she thinks is hoeing. So I actually am interested in this case for my own purposes. Not that I'd be I'm just saying, this is about to make law, and I want to know what people can say about me before I get paid.
Well, I know this too. But here's Bilal's problem. Go ahead. Well, here's Bilal's problem, right? Let's say there are 20, 30 men, whatever she was for the streets. All right. That was 30 years ago. I don't care if I slept with her. I am never getting up in court and testifying to my wife in the gallery that I slept with nobody.
Right.
I ain't had none. All right. All right. And so who's gonna get up there 30 years later and ruin their life?
Ruin everybody says that's so true. All right, let's go to the jury. Jury, what are y'all's thoughts on this? Do you think Bilal's in trouble? Drop down in the chat if you think Bilaal is in trouble. Drop down in the chat if you think Bilaal is in trouble. All right, everybody, we're trying something new here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And we're going to pivot to a human interest case because this one isn't celebrity, but it's definitely been the talk all over the internet. Now, let me explain to you what's going on here. This human interest case is about Cyrus Carmack Belton, his case, and the store owner got acquitted. I'm going to let Attorney Carter break it down for you, but a jury acquitted, I think they call him Chike Rick Chow, of murder in the shooting death of a 14-year-old kid. This is crazy to me. Prosecutors said the teen was fleeing when shot. Defense argued defense of his son. Let me see if that makes sense. The family says a civil suit is definitely expected. Attorney Carter, you sent this to the courts for us to review. Can you tell us what's going on in this case and how is this even possible that a 14-year-old kid gets shot and he gets acquitted?
Yeah, that's why when I first heard this, I'm like every other person. And by the way, I have 4 sons. All right, so I totally get this. So this boy, all right, 14-year-old, goes into the supermarket or into the Quickie Mart, right, the Express Mart gas station to get some snacks or whatever. He leaves the store without buying anything. And the wife, by the way, his wife says, oh, he stole 4 bottles of water.
What?
Their son, all right, not pictured here, runs after the Cyrus. Cyrus is running away. And at some point, the father then runs out there too. So the father, by the way, is armed. The son is not. The father shoots the boy, and when the police come, he claims, hey, it was self-defense of my son because that boy had a gun and he was pointing at my son, and so I shot at him. And it was such a disturbing case that, to their credit, even the South Carolina DA said, we're going to look into this. We're going to file charges because this doesn't sound right. You got a boy who didn't do anything wrong. You chase him out in the streets and then you gun him down. And the argument here for self-defense is absolutely ridiculous, except for there were some unique circumstances here that made it possible. So let's explain. If the young man, the son of this guy, had run out there with a gun and chased after Cyrus, he would not have been able to shoot Cyrus legally because he's starting the confrontation over something that did not happen. And you can't shoot people over a bottle of water.
Okay.
But the problem is that the father says, I am defending my unarmed son against this armed, dangerous man who's pointing a gun at him. Now, the real question at the issue was, did he point the gun? What the police found at the scene was a gun. Now, you and I say, of course, they planted a gun on him, right?
Right.
In fairness to the defendant here, there's a witness that came out. Cyrus's boy says, no, that's Cyrus's gun. He said, I didn't see him pointing at him, but he carried a gun. So the argument that they were able to use.
So Cyrus's friend told on him under oath, said, hey, he had to testify truthfully. He said that gun is his. The police tested it for residue. It has Cyrus's residue, not any of the Chow's residue. And so in this horrible, horrible case, it goes to the jury. Now, there's still a question about whether you believe him or not, right? Right.
And I couldn't believe it because I checked the composition of the jury. You know how many black people are on the jury? 5. 3 black men and 2 black women.
What?
Yes. And they ruled that they believed Chow and that Cyrus must have held a gun on him.
Okay, so
what should I say? I'm not saying that. They said that there's not enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to believe that didn't happen. Right? They didn't say necessarily they believed it, but remember, the defendant always gets the benefit of the doubt. And so they said, because you're the defendant, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt and you're going free.
See, this is just me. If a black kid gets shot, don't put me on the jury, because I'm going to be the one that's going to vote for the person to be convicted of shooting the black kid. I'm just going to be that guy. I don't care. Unless the kid pulled the gun, pointed it at the son, and was getting ready to shoot the son, and that Asian father saved his son from getting killed.
That's his argument.
So was there proof that he pulled the gun?
All they did was they found a gun on the scene that apparently belonged to Cyrus, but we don't know if he pulled it on him or not. If he just fell out of his pocket, afterwards that he dropped it when he was running. Right? We don't know any of that. We just simply know that there was a gun found near his body, and that it was and that the jury gave the child the benefit of the doubt. Now, I do agree. I suspect that the situation was reversed. Cyrus's daddy wouldn't have had the benefit of the doubt.
I don't think so either. Attorney Turner, what are your thoughts on this case?
This case is very disturbing to me. As the mom of 2 black sons, I'm scared. And the fear that's in my heart every day is just punctuated by what happened here, because what happened to this family is that they lost their son and there appears to be no justice. What does encourage me is I have a friend that's involved with the case. So as you guys know, I went to University of South Carolina for law school, and somebody who went there, who's a friend of mine, is representing the family, a lawyer by the name of Todd Rutherford. And Todd is outraged by the outcome here. And I think that we need to stay tuned for what happens in the civil case. It won't change the criminal finding, but it may give us a hint at what justice might look like.
It's just so sad to me. It's just so sad to me. So this family has to fight this in civil court. I mean, this has to be a civil situation then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, but basically, if that Asian father doesn't have the money to pay, they won't ever get any compensation, right?
Possibly from the. Go ahead, John. I think you got it. Same answer.
See, now I want to read your mind. there may be insurance that applies. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
Attorney
exactly.
Carter? Yeah.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about the insurance is it might be disqualified if they view that the Asian father engaged in intentional misconduct. And so the insurance aspect is going to be layered. We do know that he has a store, right? So that store may
Right.
be named after that Black family before it's all said and done. For the A-listers, just kind of for your own understanding, and I may be preaching to the choir, but I think it bears mention, the difference between criminal and civil cases, and we've talked about this before, is that in criminal cases, somebody is fighting for their liberty, which means they're fighting for freedom. And in a civil case, they're only fighting for money. So in the civil arena, there's no possibility that this Asian is going to go to jail, right?
I mean, the thing that really upsets me the most is, people get very clever in civil cases, and like he could close the store, go file for bankruptcy, right? Like it's just still happening. And the state that it happened in, South Carolina, this type of stuff is still happening out here. All right, hey, listeners, we have to be careful. We have to have these conversations with our kids too, because we have to protect our future. Ooh, this is so sad. But thank you very much for the overview, Attorney Carter and Attorney Turner. This is a part of the show that I need your help. Please hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, don't forget to hit the share button to invite some folks over to the show. As always, don't forget to turn on your notifications, because when you turn on your notifications, and only you can do that, then you will get notifications from us when we send one out. As always, I need your help over there at my Celebrity Court of Public Opinion Instagram page. Be sure to go find us at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion and hit that follow button. And also drop down in the comments or send me a message on any type of case or even a human interest story. I think I want to start doing more of these. A human interest story that you would like covered so that we can help you be in the legal know-how in any type of situation that you're interested in. All right. Don't forget to always, as usual, drop down in the comments. We really loved hearing from everybody today. Let's get to a few really quickly. JP Mail 5643 says, can the family sue civilly? Yes, I think that's what they're doing. Nisha Phillip says, horrible how people just get away with killing Black kids at 14 years old. It is. That's just so sad. That's just so sad to me. I don't understand why you can't shoot him in the arm or shoot him in the leg. Like, geez whiz. And then I don't want to. Vippa P says they wiped out that poor baby. Yes, that is definitely true. And Sandra McGee says, yes, it's very disturbing. When I saw this case on Court TV, I was absolutely mortified, and mortified I am too. All right, headed to you, A-listers, my jury members. We're going into final deliberation. All right, jury, it's that time where you decide who's guilty and who's not guilty here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. You heard me cry. This is the verdict time where you decide who's guilty and who's not guilty in the Court of Public Opinion. First up, Aiyuk. Aiyuk. Yep, you know Aiyuk. Oh, Lord. Is Aiyuk guilty or not guilty for posting evidence that he was breaking the law? Drop down in the chat. Is Aiyuk guilty or not guilty? Please drop down in the chat. Is he guilty or not guilty for posting evidence that he was breaking the law? Esther Stone says guilty. Etta Todd says guilty. One more guilty. Brenda K says guilty. Aiyuk, guess what? You've been found guilty. Guilty in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. All right, next up is M.I.A. versus Cudi. Is M.I.A. guilty or not guilty for getting herself canceled? Drop down in the chat. Is M.I.A. guilty or not guilty for getting herself canceled? Drop down in the chat right now. Let me know what you think. Is M.I.A. guilty or not guilty? Drop down in the chat. Melina said that heifer is guilty. We got one guilty. Is M.I.A. Miss MAGA guilty or not guilty? RQM says guilty. Joanna J says guilty. Editor says guilty. All right, guess what, M.I.A.? Shut your mouth. You've been found guilty. Guilty here in Public Opinion. Next up, Boosie. Is Boosie guilty or not guilty of busting that security guard upside his head with a deadly weapon? Drop down in the chat. Is Boosie guilty or not guilty for using a deadly weapon in harming that security guard? Drop down in the chat. I need to know, is Boosie guilty or not guilty? Drop down in that. Nisha Phillips says guilty. Essa Stone says guilty. Editor says guilty. Boosie, once again, you've been found guilty. Guilty in celebrity court of public opinion. Next up, Sheree. Sheree, that's Will Smith's ex-wife. Is Bilaal? I guess it's Bilaal. Is Sheree guilty or not? I guess it's not guilty. I guess it's Bilaal guilty. Is Bilaal guilty or not guilty? Drop down in the chat. Is Bilaal guilty or not guilty? Is Bilaal guilty or not guilty of lying on that lady who had a reputation in Hollywood? Is he guilty for defamation? Drop down in the chat, everyone. Is Bilaal guilty? All right, Brenda K says guilty. She said, keep your mouth shut. Milk Dud is guilty. JP Mill says guilty. All right, Bilaal, we tried. Bilaal, you have been found guilty, and Sheree, you've been found not guilty. Not guilty here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Don't forget, drop all your verdicts down right now. Counsel, no hedging, no lawyer dancing, just direct answers. Which one did you think was the messiest case? Not talking about the human interest story, though, but which one in the celebrity realm tonight was the messiest legally?
That's simple. That's Bilaal. And here's why. Bilaal's been running around for the last couple of years talking about all of Will Smith's family, all right? He talked about Jada Smith and her Caillou looking ass. But here he talked about Will Smith. He talked about Will Smith's baby mama, his son's mother. And guess what? Will ain't slapped Bilaal. All right, if he was a 150-pound comic, he'd slap him. All right, but because he's dealing with a grown milk dud, he'll handle this professionally. So, Will, I'm calling you out. All right, until you slap somebody your own size, all right, then you need to shut up and deal with you and your bald-headed wife. Ooh, come slap me. Her name is all in my mouth. By the way, I'm not 5'6", 155 pounds. Will, I'm 6'4", 220, and it might turn out different.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I know a challenge when I hear one. All right, Attorney Turner, which case tonight is the messiest morally?
Oh, I was going to say potentially the case of Sean Carter versus Will Smith. But I would also go with the Bilaal Sheree one. And it's not just because Bilaal had the audacity to wear that shirt in public, but it's because he's trying to drag her for her behavior when it was 30 years ago. And so who knows what she did? Who remembers? Who gives a shit? He's trying to use her and take her down for his own advancement. And I think that's a sign of a punk. So I think Will could actually probably take him, Sean, because he doesn't have any balls.
There you go. Fair enough.
Allegedly.
All right, Carter and Turner. And which one is going to have the comments fighting for 40 hours straight? 48 hours straight after this. Which
it might be this show because Sean and I went in.
I know that's right. You guys definitely went in. What do you think? Let's see. Fighting through the comments. I think for me, the M.I.A. story really shocked me. I did not know that she was a MAGA. I didn't know after COVID she had turned MAGA. That one's got me really upset now. Now I want her off the tour and I want her to go away. Like I want cancel culture go after her because anybody that especially and she's an immigrant.
Yes. You know what? Cudi, you can bring on Brian McKnight. He's very popular with the ladies.
Brian McKnight got canceled.
Brian McKnight got canceled. I think all these people, because here's the thing. You know what? Let's go back to the days of Motown when it was a whole system, when they chose your clothes, told you how to act, told
artist
you
development,
and said, be quiet. Nobody cares about your politics. But if you decide to share it and it's unpopular, you're out of here.
Yeah. All right. Tonight's lesson is simple, everybody. Social media can become evidence, idiot. Contracts become weapons when the PR turns dumb. Footage doesn't always tell the whole story, obviously. And words, Mr. Bilaal, words can cost money. And verdicts don't erase grief. That's important to know. I'm Judge Al Reynolds, and this has been Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Be sure to do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. If you already subscribed, be sure to hit the share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. As always, go follow Celebrity Court of Public Opinion on Instagram. Do it right now. Send us some cases that you want us to cover. And then also drop the next case right now in the chat that you want on the docket for next week. Everybody, thank you so much. We had a great time with you, Attorney Carter and Attorney Turner. As always, you two killed it. This is Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and court is now adjourned.
Hey, Isaac.